Hi everyone, it's Chris Balch from AGF Seeds here. I'm just here today with Simon Falkiner. Now we're getting to that time of the year where people are looking to graze cereals, and we wanted to just jump into a paddock real quick and talk about some of the key points on grazing cereals, how to get the best out of it, things to avoid. And Simon's done a huge amount of work in that space over the years, so I thought we'd jump into a paddock and just have a quick chat about some of the things. So Simon, first up, what's the number one thing that people tend to get wrong or struggle with when it comes to grazing cereals?
Probably the number one thing, Chris, is not letting the crop recover. And it's either grazing too late in the season or grazing too hard. And when I say that, it's if you want to maintain grain yield. If you just want to feed livestock, you can graze as long as you like. But if you want to maintain grain yield, there are some rules.
Absolutely. So making sure that you get the stock off at the right time. So, and what's the key timing, I suppose, from a growth stage on that? On when's the best time to get the stock off so that you can maintain that grain yield?
Growth stage 30 is the critical period. It's when that seed head starts moving up the stem, and it's pretty simple. If the animals graze that grain head off in the stem, it's gone forever, and you can't replace it. You have to grow a new tiller with a new grain head inside it. So growth stage 30, stem elongation, that's the critical time.
Excellent, excellent. Now we've got sort of 3 points, three most important things to keep an eye on, and I think the first one was, how quickly can we get the stock onto the paddock if like this year pastures are slow, things are a bit cold as it is today. We want to get some stock on do a quick graze. How early can we get on?
It's surprising how early you can get on, and it's actually an advantage to graze early, because then you don't run into the back end of the grazing period. If you want to maintain your grain yield, you've got to get full recovery of your plant. You've got to match a grazed crop has got to match an ungrazed crop at flowering. So you need to get the animals off quickly. So if you graze early, paddock like this, people would say this is too early to graze, but it's actually it's just about right. And you want to get the animals on and off really quickly. You don't want them on for 3 weeks. If you can get them on and off in 3 or 4 days, that's the target. That's Excellent. What you should be doing.
And is there a little trick to tell if somebody walks into the paddock? Is there a little trick to know how early it is to graze?
Yep, there's a pinch and twist test that apparently mimics how an animal grazes, and I'll demonstrate it for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty simple. You just grab it, your thumb and your finger like that, you pinch, twist and pull, just like that. And see how those plants aren't pulling out? If they pulled out like that, it's too early.
Yep.
But if you can pinch and twist like that, that's no problems at all.
Excellent, excellent.
There's not a lot of dry matter here, but there's enough. If you've got 10 paddocks, just like this, and you can get 3 or 4 days out of each paddock, all of a sudden you've gained yourself a month in your grazing rotation. You've spelled your paddock for a month. And so that's when I say to people you can graze at this early stage, they go, wow, that's early. But it does. If you've got 10 paddocks, 3 days each, there's a month, and a month at this time of the year is like gold.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so Simon, just to cap off, 3 most important things to keep an eye out for when grazing cereals.
The 3 most things, there's when you graze, when you start grazing, and when you finish grazing. You need to not graze too early, so you don't pull the plants out, and not go too late, so you get full recovery of the plant. The other one is animal health issues. You can get yourself into trouble grazing these high quality pastures, especially barley. It has high protein, low energy levels, and people think, oh, I'm going to put grazing ewes which are just about to lamb on a pasture like this, or a crop. You can get metabolic problems. I wouldn't suggest putting heavily pregnant ewes on a barley pasture. You're better off on a red wheat. It traditionally has higher energy levels. And the third thing is, make sure you know what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to feed animals, you can graze it as much as you like, but if you want to maintain grain yield, you have to allow the crop to recover. So that's the third thing that you've got to have a clear plan in your mind. Get the animals on and off quickly. You can come back for a second bite of the cherry if you want.
Yep.
But that's better than having a month-long grazing of a paddock.
Excellent. Look, thank you very much. So there's a few things there for everyone to keep their eye on. But as we move into winter and people look to do a bit of grazing on cereals, some really good points there. So look, thank you very much, Simon. We've got some details on the email and on the screen for getting in touch with Simon if you've got any other questions about it. But otherwise, thank you, and let's go and grab a coffee.
I think so. It's a bit cool out here.